Welcome to Lab 5A using regular expression threat protection. So in this lab, what we're going to do is we're going to add a regular expression protection policy to our proxy and then test that it is actually working. So let's first go over to Apigee and then create a proxy. So we go to API proxies in here, click on create. We can call this proxy lab 5A-v1. And then we're going to change that hyphen into a / into the base path as previously. And then we are targeting an existing API from http-bin.org. Create. And there we go. So then let's develop. We go to the default proxy endpoint and its pre-flow. That's where we want to do the protection policy, right? So we're going to, here you can see the graphical representation of that. So we have the request coming in and then the response coming back. And it's the pre-flow of the request where we want to add this. We'll create a new policy. It's going to be a regular expression protection policy. We're going to implement a SQL injection regex here. So just going to name it that. Add. And now we can see that it has been added. We can also see the configuration for it over here. And this is the policy itself. So we're given a ready-made configuration. I'm just going to remove everything here and then paste the given policy. So you can see that we're looking for specific terms in the request that have to do with how SQL injection attacks work. This is just an example. This is not really how things would be done, right? Great. So we can save this one. It's been saved, and we can deploy. And we want to deploy into the eval environment. There we go. And then we can take a look at the overview. You can see it's not currently deployed because my environment isn't ready yet. So I'm just going to wait for a second here. All right, so after waiting for a while, we can now see that the first version or first revision of our proxy has been deployed into the eval environment. So that means that we can continue with our lab. So what we want to do next, well, we want to test whether our policy is actually working. And for that, I need to SSH into a test instance that has been pre-created here. Creating a key for that. And now we're in our test virtual machine. So now I can try to connect to my proxy, like this. And we can get back basically from http-bin .org, all of the information that we get, that we have sent it, right? So if we're looking for anything, that was the URL that we set as the backend. And these are the user agents and other things, okay? Cool. So let's now try to set a parameter in that query. The same query, but we're adding the parameter test, and we are setting the value of that parameter to be okay. So this should be okay. This should not match with any of the regular expressions that we set up. And you can see that it's been propagated nicely. Now, if we put in something that we had prohibited, like delete, in this case, right? So let's set the test variable to be delete. Now you can see that that is not allowed, right? So it raises a fault. In this case, it's the default fault, a 500 series error. We might want to change this to be a 400 series, but that's kind of, for us to define. Another thing is that by default, it gives us the reason for the denial. Again, we might not want to show this to an attacker, right? So this is more here for debugging purposes. Yeah, that's a regular expression protection policy and how it works. And see you in your next lab.